Welcome to the deep dive. You've tuned in to your shortcut for getting really well informed on the latest from WWE RAW. We're talking June 30th, 2025.
Yeah.
And this wasn't just any old Raw. It was absolutely packed. You had the fallout from Night of Champions, plus it kicked off the build to a big one, Evolution.
That's exactly right. And we've done the legwork, pulled together all the results, the details, insights from, official WWE stuff, but also fan analysis, all the good bits. Our mission today, really, is to help you get a clear picture of how things are shifting in WWE right now, what it all means for the superstars, the titles, everything.
Yeah, there were definitely some surprises, some big title changes we need to talk about, and plenty of moments where you just go, okay, that's what's happening. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the show started with arrivals in Pittsburgh, kind of setting the scene. But the real fireworks, they started early. The Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, straight to the ring.
Right. And what was interesting here, you could see she was clearly hurting, holding those ribs after that war with Raquel Rodriguez in Night of Champions.
Definitely.
But her focus was sharp. She said she was getting her priorities straight for Evolution. It felt very calculated, like she knew exactly what she needed to do next.
But then, boom. Women's World Champion Iyo Sky comes out, interrupts her, says basically, you can't have Evolution without me. And get this, she claims Adam Pearce, the Raw GM, gave her the power to pick her opponent for Evolution. And she picks Rhea Ripley. I mean, how big is that? A champion picking their challenger like that? What's that tell us about Iyo?
That is a massive statement. It's a huge power play. It shows incredible confidence from Iyo Sky, maybe even a bit of mind games, trying to dictate the terms.
Yeah.
And Ripley, to her credit, didn't back down. Accepted right away, so it's official. Rhea Ripley versus Iyo Sky Women's World Championship at Evolution. That just sets the bar incredibly high for the women's division right off the bat.
Okay, so that's a huge match set. But the drama wasn't just there. Backstage, we had dirty Dominik Mysterio.
Yes.
And he's flashing this doctor's note, claiming he's not cleared to compete.
Right, which is interesting because it keeps that storyline with AJ Styles bubbling away, doesn't it? Without them actually having to wrestle yet.
Exactly. And Styles was right there, didn't waste any time mocking him, called him a punk ass, basically said, whenever you are cleared, I'm coming for that Intercontinental title.
Yeah, it's smart booking. Keeps the heat there, builds anticipation for when Dom is ready.
But we did get in-ring action next, and wow, a massive title change. World Tag Team Championships on the line, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough taking on the champs, the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods.
And this was a really, really good match. Went about, 12 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
Really intense action. You had that funny bit where Kofi offered Balor bread for more carbs, which Balor just slapped away, of course. Classic heel move. But yeah, big moves, Balor's double stomps, New Day hit the midnight hour. Woods even used the title belt illegally for a near fall.
The crowd was totally into it too, chanting, "This is awesome!" And even when Balor accidentally hit McDonough, they recovered fast. Showed some good chemistry there.
He did.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the Judgment Day got the win. McDonough hit that incredible Spanish fly off the top rope.
Unreal move.
And Balor followed up with the coup de grace. Double stomp from the top. That was it. New World Tag Team Champions.
So what does that mean for the big picture, you think, especially with Liv Morgan out injured?
Well, it puts gold back on Judgment Day, solidifies them, keeps them looking dominant even without Liv, who was, a key part of the group. It shores up their power base.
Right.
What was really fascinating, though, was the crowd reaction. Judgment Day, they're supposed to be the villains.
Usually, yeah.
But they worked almost like the good guys, the faces in this match. Got a huge reaction at the end. The crowd seems really invested in their story, regardless of whether they're cheering or booing. It's compelling stuff.
It really is. Okay, moving on from titles, but sticking with intense feelings. Personal grudges. Last week, Lyra Valkyria attacked Becky Lynch, which cost Bayley her shot at the women's Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
So this week, Bayley and Lyra had a confrontation backstage, pretty heated.
Yeah, Bayley was obviously upset, but she made it clear she's still laser focused on that IC title. Valkyria, though, she was like, look, my problem's with Becky Lynch, not you.
Right.
Which led Adam Pearce to make a match. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria later that night for a shot at the title, a #1 contenders match.
So Pearce forcing their hand, basically. Turning that tension into competition.
Exactly. Puts two top stars who weren't necessarily feuding directly against each other. Could spark something new.
Okay, before we got to that match, though, we had Rusev versus Sheamus. Man, this was a fight. Just brutal.
Oh, absolutely. They gave this one plenty of time, and these two just beat the tar out of each other. You can feel those hits.
Seriously. Sheamus hit his 10 beats of the Bodhrán, but it wasn't 10, was it?
No, he hit like 15, just relentless shots across the chest on the ropes. Brutal.
Yeah. And Sheamus was tough, even got Rusev up while trapped in the Accolade. Rusev's submission hold.
Incredible strength.
Yeah.
But Rusev found a way, some dirty tactics eye rake, exposed the turnbuckle bracket.
Ah, classic.
And then connected with the Machka kick, super kick, lights out. Rusev gets the win, showing that ruthless edge.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, backstage stuff again. Chad Gable, he got attacked by Penta last week, right?
Yep.
So he's shown, arm in a sling, apparently needs surgery. But he dropped this hint about someone called El Grande Americano showing up.
Which immediately makes you ask, who is that?
Exactly. And later on, this El Grande Americano does appear, takes out American Made. And the rumor, the speculation, is it might be Ludwig Kaiser. He was seen lurking earlier.
That's the buzz, yeah.
Yeah.
It adds this whole layer of mystery. Is it Kaiser? What's this new persona about?
Right. If it is Kaiser, what does that even mean? Is he trying to completely reinvent himself? Is it some kind of mind game against Gable using that name? It really makes Gable's comeback potentially much more personal.
Absolutely. It's not just about recovering from injury. It's about facing this twisted version of something he represents. Very intriguing.
Definitely something to watch. And speaking of things to watch, the Judgment Day weren't finished for the night?
No, never are they?
Newly crowned champs, Balor and JD, they go to the GMs, Pierce and Aldis, and they're talking about the women's tag team titles.
Right. Because Liv Morgan's out, Raquel Rodriguez needs a partner, and Balor suggests Roxanne Perez from NXT.
Interesting.
Very.
Yeah.
Pierce agrees, but with the condition Raquel and Roxanne have to defend those titles at Evolution against teams from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Wow, okay. So cross-brand defense.
Exactly. Makes those titles feel really important, spans all the brands. And Perez, she seemed thrilled to join Judgment Day, even said she's going after Kairi-san, who supposedly took Liv out.
So Judgment Day expands its reach, gets a new target, and we get a big cross-brand title match set up. Lots happening there.
Busy night for them.
Okay, then a huge shift. A big announcement for WWE Saturday night's main event. They aired this career retrospective for Goldberg.
Powerful video.
Confirming his final match. It's going to be against the ring general Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Massive news. And Gunther came out to address it. His promo was just chillingly dominant.
Yeah.
Acknowledged Goldberg's past, sure, but then just scoffed at him. Called him a 58-year-old man trying to ride Gunther's coattails into retirement.
Ouch.
Said he wouldn't just beat Goldberg in under 3 minutes, he'd bully him. Prove he never had it. Just absolute contempt. Really establishing himself as the guy who ends legends, doesn't give them that fairy tale ending.
Wow. Okay. But then, burn it down.
Here we go.
Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank. And he's got Paul Heyman with him. Things just got turned up to 11.
Right. Rollins congratulates Gunther, but then drops a bomb. Says the reason he didn't cash in Money in the Bank, that briefcase with the title shot contract.
Anytime, anywhere.
Exactly. The reason he didn't cash in on Cena at Night of Champions. Because for 2 years, his only goal has been stopping CM Punk from being a world champion in WWE.
Whoa, okay.
And then he declares his Money in the Bank contract isn't just for one title. It's an all-out assault on both world titles.
Both. So he's targeting Gunther and whoever holds the other world title.
Seems like it. Immediately makes that briefcase way more dangerous, way more unpredictable.
And of course you mentioned CM Punk.
And his music hits.
Punk comes charging out, absolutely furious, attacks Rollins.
Chaos. Rollins manages to bail through the crowd.
But Punk isn't done. He even shoves Gunther before storming off.
So Gunther, Rollins, Punk.
Yeah.
What is this massive three-way confrontation signal for the next few months? It feels like the main event scene just exploded. It really did. This segment laid out so many possibilities. Gunther deals with Goldberg's, and maybe it's Rollins, maybe it's Punk waiting for him.
Right.
But what was crazy was Rollins escaping through the crowd, only for LA Knight to suddenly appear behind him.
Out of nowhere, in the concourse.
Yeah, and they just start brawling right there near a bar. It felt completely unscripted, totally chaotic, real energy.
And that brawl led to an official match announcement, right?
Yep. Confirmed later, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight next Saturday at Saturday Night's main event.
Okay, another big match set, and then backstage, Punk confronts Knight, tells him to get to the back of the line for Rollins.
Knight, classic LA Knight, just hits him with the, yeah, says, my match is made, I am the line.
Love it. So much heat between basically everyone at the top right now.
Absolutely flammable situation.
Okay, so all that chaos leads us towards the main event. We see Sami Zayn backstage first. Ribs heavily taped up, getting medical attention.
Yeah, looking rough after that lead pipe attack from Karrion Kross. Penta's there with him, checking on him.
But Sami, he struggles up, clearly in pain, but insists he's doing the match.
Just pure grit. You got to respect that determination, even when he's clearly not 100%.
So, the main event. Sami Zayn and Penta versus Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman's at ringside.
And Heyman was on the phone just before the match, talking to Rollins, apparently, about Plan B.
Oh.
So that connects back to the earlier chaos, hence there's more scheming going on.
Always layers with Heyman.
Always.
The match itself was pretty wild. Breaker immediately went after Sami's injured ribs, which you expected.
Textbook strategy, target the weakness.
But Sami and Penta, they fought back hard. Great teamwork. Hit those stereo somersault dives to the outside.
Awesome spot. And Sami even hit an Arabian press, that top rope splash, paying tribute to Sabu. Nice touch.
It was. But, Sami's injury was clearly a factor. It kind of gave them an out for the result, while still letting Sami look incredibly tough fighting through the pain.
Definitely. Breaker hit him with a huge clothesline over the announce table, put him in a bear hug later, just squeezing those injured ribs. You could see the agony.
Penta had his moments too, though. Nearly snapped Breaker's arm, almost got the win with a satellite DDT, that spinning DDT move.
He looked great. But in the end, the power of Breaker and Reed, plus a Heyman distraction.
Of course!
It was too much. Breaker hit Sami with a massive spear. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed get the win.
But it wasn't over, was it?
Not at all. Breaker and Reed started beating down Penta and Zayn after the match. Looked like they were going to do some serious damage.
Until the music hits.
Yes. Main event, Jey Uso.
Jey Uso's back. Runs down with a chair.
Lays out Breaker in the aisle. Smashes Reed across the back. Sends him running. Huge pop from the crowd.
Wow, what an ending. So Jey Uso returns, saves Sami and Penta. What does that mean now, this whole brawling balance of power thing?
That's the big question, isn't it? Jey's return is huge.
Yeah.
It's not just a save. It potentially creates a new alliance. Maybe Jey, Sami, and Penta against Breaker, Reed, and whoever else aligns with them. Maybe Heyman's involved.
Yeah.
It completely shakes things up again.
Yeah.
It was a really good main event, like our sources said. Maybe no titles on the line directly, but the story, the action, the crowd investment, and then that massive return at the end. Really strong finish to the show.
So wrapping this all up, what does this Raw really mean for you, the fan watching? So much happened.
A ton. You saw Judgment Day grab the tag titles, really cementing their spot, and maybe even expanding with Roxanne Perez now in the mix.
Right.
You've got a monster women's world title match set for Evolution with Rhea and Iyo Sky. Huge implications there. And then that main event scene. Gunther, Goldberg, Rollins, Punk, LA Knight. It's just a powder keg right now. So many interconnected rivalries heading into Saturday night's main event and beyond. It's going to be thrilling to watch unfold.
Plus, we still don't know who wins that Bayley versus Lyra match for the women's IC title shot. And the whole mystery around El Grande Americano, lots of threads left dangling.
Exactly.
If you wanted the shortcut to understanding the biggest shifts and stories coming out of Raw this week, hopefully this deep dive gave you exactly that.
Absolutely. This show really proved how everything connects, how one action ripples outwards. The lines of power are definitely blurry right now. Which leads to a final thought to chew on.
Okay.
With all these champions, contenders, factions clashing, new alliances forming, what truly defines power in WWE at this moment? Is it holding a championship belt? Or is it maybe the ability to shift that brawling balance of power, maybe even from the shadows?
Something to definitely think about until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.